What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Episode 3, Triple Nexus. How you doing? I'm the Nerd King.
ND. Oh
Burn
shit.
Scuffle.
Right. And
It worked.
this is just a bunch of guys yapping about anime. So we're going to get down to the work right now. We're done with the long introductions. Y'all know who we are by at this point if you've been listening to the podcast. Let's talk anime, bro. We started with politics the last 2 times. We're talking anime to start off. And I'm hype season because
Yes,
One Piece, bro.
of course.
One Piece. Okay, we have got to talk about One Piece chapter 1138. Holy fucking shit. If y'all are here from my page, we're going to be yapping about One Piece for like the first half of this podcast because that chapter was one of the most insane chapters I've ever heard in my entire life. Before I get into the shit, do you guys have anything you want to say about the leaks or anything? Because I know both of y'all have seen it at this point.
Yeah, Burns. I'm gonna let you go real quick.
Well, yeah, I was talking with them about it before. How there's just so many different interpretations. I needed a perspective that makes the most sense, and I personally think Nerd King is gonna be able to provide that for me. Because everyone is all over the place with it. There's so okay. Everyone has so many different theories and so many different opinions, and I mean, I want to see where it leads up to.
Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, I thought the Shamrock like ability, like that when they showed his ability, I thought that was just as crazy as like everything else. I think we'll get into it like a little bit later on, but I just thought like the thing with his like sword that he did with his sword, I wasn't sure if that was saying that was his devil fruit ability, or if there was like quite literally like a spirit within his sword, and that can like lead into like the whole lore about like cursed weapons and blades having spirits like within them. And I made like a quick video about it on TikTok talking about how like Shank's blade Griffin, how like during like the anime adaptation for Divine Departure, they showed like an actual Griffin. And people were saying, oh, it was just for like to make it look more cinematic. Some people were saying, oh, it was just the haki. But like with this latest chapter, could it be that there was actually a Griffin yokai inside the blade? I don't know. I thought that was interesting. And then something else I thought that was kind of interesting was that it had the same like Black Cloud Awakening like sort of like imagery that the Gorosei had when they were in their like yokai forms. So what's what's that about? Like, does that have any relation to the Gorosei? Probably, but I mean we don't really know. Then of course there was like that giant mural and everything that was on that, showing like all of the 3 worlds and the information with that. I thought that was super interesting, super complicated, and they mentioned like so many different like gods. Like it wasn't just like Nika and Sea God. Like it was Earth God, Forest God. Things like all those different things, and I thought like that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. We can touch base on all those points. We'll keep everybody waiting a little bit to talk about the mural because actually we can go in order of the chapter like itself and the important things to hit. I feel like the first thing to hit on is obviously the big reveal in this chapter. We all forget that they fully revealed in this chapter that Shamrock was Shank's brother. Like, it was a theory of the entire One Piece community leading up to that point. They gave that away. But the lore in the end, and it kind of shows where the One Piece community is now, that every time there's a lore drop, everybody just loses their minds, and lose their mind even more than the actual reveal of Shamrock being Shanks' older twin brother, which is kind of nuts to me. So there's that, which also gives official that Shanks is the son of Figurlin Garling now. He's at least one of them. Which, again, that whole kind of him being a celestial dragon, him having parallels to Doflamingo. And also, I thought was interesting was the fact that Shanks went back, bro. They said officially that Shanks went back to the Celestials, but he decided, for whatever reason, that he likes being a pirate more. I think he's just a better person than the rest of his family. So, about that, his devil fruit with his sword, I'm actually looking at it right now. It's the Cerberus fruit. And I do think it's his sword and not him. They had Spandam in what's the arc's name? Spandam in the I Want to Live. Wow, I'm a One Piece fan and I don't know the arc's name. Yeah, and he's lobby. That was embarrassing. Y'all better scratch that and never ever remember that I forgot about that.
I'm a real One Piece fan now, bro.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's just so funny. I forgot Spandam had this power. I actually had people in my comment section pointing it out to me, but Spandam's sword had a devil fruit as well. So it was able to transform into like something. I don't know how exactly the sword like absorbing the power works. I'm sure there's lore behind it, but the Cerberus is attached to his devil fruit. Now the black cloud surrounding the Cerberus itself has to do with the mythical Zoan and the awakening. For instance, Rob Lucci has the black clouds around him. I also think the clouds can represent, the color of them represent the spirit inside of the person. Because with Cerberus now, the clouds are black. With the devil, with not the devils themselves, I think they are devils, but the Gorsei, their clouds are black around them. But with Luffy, it's white when he goes into his thing. I think those are mythical Zoans. Because Rob Lucci has a mythical Zoan fruit. Luffy has a mythical Zoan fruit. And Cerberus, I think this is a mythical Zoan or Zoan awakening of itself. And I think the clouds themselves signify Zoan awakening. But the colors of the clouds, I think, have to do with the person's like personality or their spirit being good or evil. So there's that. That Cerberus fruit was beast, by the way. I think he like one-shot Loki, bro. And while Loki's tied up,
yeah, it was
that
insane.
Shit is nuts. And
I got overthrown by the mural too.
Well, exactly.
Ignored it. No one's talking about it.
Nobody's talking about it. The fact that Shamrock has had more said about him within the 3 chapters that he's appeared than Shanks has had within the past 1140 chapters of this fucking show is crazy to me, bro. They decided to give lore drops for his family before anything about actual Shanks. Well, you stop making me wait for that shit. So that's the thing with Shamrock and everything. Now a lot of stuff happened with the chapter. Loki kind of was attacked by the sword, and then Shamrock was like, "If you survive this, come find me." After that, then we skip ahead, and Frankie's with Ripley, and Frankie sees the giant mural kind of on the Atom Tree, while Robin also is looking in the Harley text with Saul. And Ripley talks, which is interesting, about dreams. She was like, is this some little kid's dream again? Which, dude, One Piece and the thought of dreams, that comes up all the time. Ripley said it looking at the mural. Blackbeard said it in that panel with "A Pirate's Dreams Never Die." Then Luffy said it on the ship of himself when he was like, I have a dream, like, this is my dream, and everybody was, obviously it hasn't been shown. And then we have the mural itself. Let's hand it over to you guys for a second. What did you guys think of the actual mural? Like, what were your interpretations of it before I gave like my own? I just yapped for like 5 minutes.
I'm gonna let Burns go real quick.
I mean, first off, I thought it was beautiful, 100%, amazingly drawn. But in terms of interpretations, I didn't even think of it too deep. Here, actually, I have the photo right now. Let me go through it real quick. Okay.
Yo, you prepared, bro. We all got. I got like 10 screenshots.
No, just to make sure, cause I don't have to like I'm looking at. Okay, so you have the first world, the second world, and the third world. So, I think, whatchamacallit, the second world definitely displays Emu. A lot of people were debating about that online, whether it was Emu or not. It's 100% Emu. Especially with what it says with sending forth the demons. I think that's 100% the Gorsei. That makes the most sense to me. But what I don't understand what people, like, what this means or if it should be confused about or not, is the little king that's on top of the ship in the sea. Some people think it's a monarch, just a random monarch. Some people think that is sun god Nika, and it's just drawn differently. But I think that it's just a random monarch. I don't think it has anything to do with Sun God Nika. I think it's like, not directly connected, but sent down from him, because there's some people that are like, it looks like they're sending their energy out, and some of them are pointing to him. And then some of them are kind of pointing away towards the sea dragon. So I think that was showing some people's faith still in the sun god and whoever was ruling at that time. Because I don't think it was anything important like Joy Boy. Like Sun God Nika, I don't think was anything more than like a title that was like passed down. And then we go into the second world. I think that was Emu sending forth his demons. And I saw a lot of people actually, and I thought it was funny, comparing the tree and like making a bunch of jokes and comparing it to like the God Tree in Naruto and being like, oh, so this is how everything started. It's looking a little familiar now.
Naruto influence One Piece confirmed.
Yo,
Bro,
it was foreshadowed in Naruto.
One Piece Naruto inspired.
Kaguya foreshadowed One Piece
The
and
One Piece
Devil
world?
Fruits.
Yo, bro, on the head. Devil fruit, hello, the God Tree bearing fruit. Come on now.
Chakra
dude.
fruit? What are we talking about?
Chakra
Like,
fruit, exactly.
Chakra fruit,
Come on.
Chakra fruit, Devil fruit. Come on. Peak cinema, peak fiction. But then the contention with the portion under the third world, how I mentioned this before, how some people don't think it's the third world or the future. They think that the whole thing is just a display of the first and the second. And since the third hasn't happened, it's not there. Or I've heard that Frankie is covering it that little small section at the bottom in front of the tree somehow. Even though it was already said that it's in 3 distinct sections. So I don't know why that's so confusing.
And that's why it's like a lot of like the whole like dumbass like Roger slander. Like, yeah, it's funny, like, but like, did you not read the panel? Like,
exactly. Oh my god, the Roger slander on Twitter. Some people are like actually serious. Like, what did you want him to do? He definitely got the qualification. I have a theory about one of the One Piece is. Actually, I posted a video about it. I'll get into it a little bit after I hear your thoughts, ND, on the mural itself. But right. Roger definitely saw the One Piece. I think the One Piece is a key in order to defeat the big ass figure on the left, which I think is Blackbeard. I also have a theory about that. Yes, 100%. But I think in order to use the One Piece, like, or have the future or whatever, all that stuff, is that the character has to be Joy Boy, or one of those guys that are mentioned in this panel. I don't think Roger could do anything with it. I think he also, there's significance with him saying he's too early because all of the events of the world needed to occur at the same time in order for that character of Joy Boy to save it. And I think in that prophecy where Roger was there, it said exactly when Joy Boy was going to return, because the One Piece, they have the history drawn on a random fucking tree in Elbaf. What do you think is on the actual One Piece or in Laugh Tale? They definitely have the entire history of the fucking world like written out, bro. Yeah, of course he's not gonna go fight this giant ass dude who defeated like every fucking race on the planet at the same time when they all tried to jump him, and he still came out on top against the original Joy Boy too. Why the fuck would Roger and his crew try to fight him by himself? Is he trying to just die and do nothing? Hell no.
Roger,
bro.
He saw that shit and he was like, I'm not doing all that.
He pieced it. Yeah, I would have done the same shit, bro.
Like,
I'm not doing that. I'm not fucking doing that. So the Roger slander, like, haha, funny, but y'all don't shit on my boy because, like, hey, of course he wasn't gonna do anything. All right, Andy, give me your thoughts about the mural. Then I'll go into a couple things because I also want to respond to Birds as well.
Yeah, so definitely for the mural, like for the first world, it was pretty obvious. It was talking about like Nika and the first like battle against I guess his like adversary. What confused me though was when it was talking about like the earth burning in like an endless flame. I guess that has, and it was talking about like the land god and a serpent of fire. I guess that kind of confused me because I was thinking that like the great like adversary of the One Piece verse would be like obviously have to do with the sea. So them talking about the great serpents of the earth breathing fire, that definitely was massively confusing to me. I wasn't really sure where they were going with this. Does this like great adversary have power of fire and water, or is this like, I don't know, a previous incarnation? I wasn't really sure what was going on with that. But I think the second and third world for me seemed pretty clear. I think obviously was talking about Emu. Something that I did talk about was where I talked about the god of the forest wove magic nurturing its devils, obviously talking about like the Gorosei and like the devils and like the devil fruits or whatever. But where I talked about them combating the half moons and full moon people, I think the full moon people are the Lunarians.
100%. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spit those facts.
Right.
Lunarians, Lunar, bro. Come on now. Come on now. And they literally have
also because
the
Lunarians are extinct. Like, obviously, they would have been extincted because of this. And the Half Moon people is D, the clan of D, because the letter D forms a half moon, right?
I've been seeing that a lot. I
don't know if I'm rocking with that one or not.
I can also respond to that after, but I did post a video about it. I will let you know what my theory is after that. Actually,
so I think it was like those two versus like the devils. But I think that because after they lost, it said those people who slew, it said the people who slew the sun deified themselves. So I think what happened after that is the devils, or like the surviving devils, made themselves like the god of that world. After which Emu showed up and was like, yeah, we're not doing that. Like, I'm the god here. So then Emu made himself above the devils. So that's why you have the Gorosei and then you have Emu on top of the Gorosei. I think that's what that hierarchy is what was created. And I think your theory about like the final part, about the final clash between Luffy, obviously Joy Boy, and the giant like beast on the right.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought it was Emu, but I think you're right. I think it is Blackbeard. Because I think that the culmination of the themes of this series is how we talked about different people's dreams, and obviously it's Blackbeard's dream versus Luffy's dream. But I think that like a overarching theme is like Luffy's dream tied to liberation, right? Like Luffy's goal, inherent in his goal, is freedom of others, whereas inherent in Blackbeard's goal is the subjugation of others. So like I think that it will come to culmination between like those like those two ideals. I think that so I definitely agree with, and it goes to show that like it shows like Blackbeard on one side, but then on the other side it shows like Luffy and a whole bunch of other people. So I think that is interconnected with like Luffy's like throughout his journey he's been freeing and liberating people, because in conjunction with his dream is inherent the freedom and liberties of other people, and with the people who he's liberated working together with him against this great foe. I think that works. I think that works thematically. What I'm still trying to understand is why is Blackbeard or this like creature holding the sun? I don't really know what that is all about, and I'm still trying to make sense of this land land god. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's like in the first world before the world flooded. Maybe like the sea kings were like land kings. Maybe that. I don't really know.
Word. Okay. I'm gonna spit some. I do apologize for the yap session I'm about to get into of y'all. So just hear me out. So there's a couple things, Envy, that you said as well. We'll get into it. I'm gonna go thing by thing. The first world, I have the text over here, and for all of y'all who are listening, if y'all want to bring up the panel on your phones, just look up One Piece chapter 1138 mural. If the chapter's free on Viz right now, so you can scroll to the end. It's the last panel if you haven't seen it. So the first world, within the earth, there was fire, obviously. Just talking about the earth being created and mankind with fire and all that, and just conflict. I think it starts with conflict. Mankind succumbed to greed and touched the forbidden sun. ND, this goes to the question that you're just asked. Why is he holding the sun? Okay. Do you remember when on Egghead Island, when Vegapunk created the Mother Flame, and how the Mother Flame was used by Emu to destroy that nation? I think the Mother Flame is an attempt to recreate this thing, which is the forbidden sun. I do think it could be a legitimate piece of the sun that the gods will be able to use, or this star, sun, whatever they use, has the ability to grant people their dreams. Vegapunk theorized on Egghead that devil fruits are people's dreams and desires manifested. Like, I could be what I want, I could do this, and that's what devil fruits are. Is they legitimately manifest, dream, imagine their powers. I think this forbidden sun has the powers. I'm going to spit, and it's going to make more sense as I'm going along. The enslaved prayed, and the sun god appeared.
Wait. So, can I interject real quick?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so you said like you think that this like sun or this like great star has the ability to like make people's dreams a reality. I'm thinking about what you said. I think that is interconnected with like obviously Luffy's ability, which is the power of imagination. But I also think that it's interconnected where we talk about like devil fruits being the manifestation of people's desires. If we think about it sort of like allegorically, you think about the sun giving its like rays to trees, and those trees creating fruits. I don't know if there is some kind of like symbolism going on there, because it did talk about like the devils being born from that tree. So I don't know if it's like the power from the sun, like thematically, sun, photosynthesis, fruit. I don't know. That's just something I just thought about real quick.
I know 100%. I do agree that there's definitely symbolism, especially with the sun, like making things grow and all of that stuff. So this is the next part about how Luffy's connected to that. The enslaved prayed and the sun god appeared. I do think in this whole the technological era, they're talking about the Industrial Revolution. As you see it on the panel, you have people giving energy to the right, and then you have the people who were enslaved by humanity, mankind, the evils and all that stuff, and they began to pray to the sun god, and the sun god, because they prayed upon the forbidden star. Or the forbidden sun, the sun god appeared, right? And that was the answer that the sun gave it, was this warrior of liberation to free the people. The earth god, which is literally just earth manifested, raged, and with its own serpent of hellfire, I don't know who the earth god is, but I know that the earth god, whoever it is, has a serpent that has the ability to burn down the entire world or whatever. Again, I have this is the one thing in this panel that I have no idea who this could possibly be. Maybe it is Dragon. Again, a dragon is a serpent. Maybe Dragon has the power of the serpent of hellfire, because a lot of people thought about that like he was a Hydra or something like that, because that's kind of, that would make sense with Dragon. Then the world was shrouded with death and darkness, and they will never meet. Okay, so that's that. There was obviously conflict with the sun god and the earth god, and that was the original sun god Nika at the beginning of time. And then we move on to the second world, which I think this is the Void Century with Joy Boy. Within the Void, there was breath. The forest god, Emu, like you were saying, Burns, 100% that's Emu. You could see him on top of the Atom Tree. The forest god tamed demons, and the sun, again, the Mother Flame is back, the original Mother Flame, spread the fires of war. Again, humanity getting greedy and trying to use that in order to subjugate people. Streams have to do with subjugation, with greed, and all that stuff. Those are the half moon dream, and those are the full moon dream, or the regular moon. I do think the people of the half moon could be the Shandorans or the people of Skypiea. And the full moon, I do agree with you, MD, is the Lunarians. Why do I think those are the half moons or the Shandorans? What? One Piece chapter 292. Weird as fuck. I saw this on Twitter today. I could not believe it. The title of the chapter is To Meet, like the half moon hidden by clouds. Okay? What happens in the chapter is when Jaya gets shot up to Skypiea and Nolan Mont Blanc goes to see what happened and they're gone. And the Shandorans popped up on Skypiea. This was fucking 800 chapters ago. And the Skypieans themselves, those Shandorans come from the moon. Their original settlers were from the moon itself. I do think the Lunarians are connected with that. The Lunarians have the full wings where they can fly. Skypieans have half wings. I do think that's the people of the half moon and the people of the full moon. I think Oda kind of gave those hints a little bit before. Yeah. I do think that's also connected to the will of D as well. Man killed the sun. They got rid of the original Mother Flame. That's why Vegapunk had to created, I think that was the Celestial Dragons, and became God. The Celestial Dragons got rid of the Mother Flame, they put themselves on top of the Red Line, and the Sea God stormed. Again, that's when the world got flooded the first time, because you have all of those cities that are underneath, and they will never meet. And then the third world, the inconvenient remnants were called the Promised Day, and hear the voice of the Half Moon. I do think that has to do with Nefertari Lily, and again, there's just I have a theory that she might have a connection with the Moon God, because she's based off of Nefertiti, the Egyptian god, or the Egyptian queen from like way back when, and she's seen a lot. And I do apologize for the app with moon god named Thoth, and Thoth is a god of writing, of scripture, and a god of the moon as well, right? And I think with this moon god, Nefertari Lily decided to create the poneglyphs and send them out in order to find the One Piece itself. And so that could have something to do with the voice of Imu listening to the voice of the Half Moon, obviously, because he's still like triggered about the whole Lily situation. The Sun God dances and laughs, obviously Luffy guiding the world to its end. The sun returns, the Mother Flame, the original one, and brings a new morning. That's the One Piece. That's the One Piece. The original Mother Flame is the One Piece. They never destroyed it. Nefertari Lily hid it. She hid it and gave us the parallels between the Moon God and the sun itself, that forbidden sun. She hid it and wrote poneglyphs as to where it is, so that the Joy Boy, the next incarnation of Joy Boy, the literal sun god, can use it to bring liberation to the world. I think that's also part of Luffy's dream.
So so why does Blackbeard have the sun then?
Yeah.
Because, listen, spit. Katarina Devon, I don't know if you remember this, but Katarina Devon, when they went to Egghead Island, she touched Saturn's leg. Do you remember that panel?
I do.
Katarina Devon has a power where she can turn into whoever she touches. I do think that this Mother Flame power, the Mother Flame that Vegapunk has, the recreation, is hidden right now. You can't touch it. I think the only people who can touch it are the Gorse and Vegapunk. Obviously, the Gorse have all sorts of clearance that Vegapunk has. Now, you're thinking to yourself, Saturn's dead. Figurlin Garland took his spot. Well, Vegapunk fucking died. Vegapunk died on Egghead. How was he going to change the clearance codes from Saturn to Garling if he's dead? Those clearance codes, those old ones, for the Mother Flame, is still for Saturn. I think Katarina Devon is going to use that power to take the Mother Flame for fucking Blackbeard, bro. And he's going to use that power in order to try to take over the world and take over Imu specifically. I think that shit dates way back, and there's way more fucking history about it. But that's my fucking theory about that shit, bro.
So do you think the sun is the real Mother Flame, or the pseudo Mother Flame?
That the pseudo Mother Flame is the Mother Flame, the one that Vegapunk created. I think the Forbidden Sun is the original one. I think Blackbeard uses the fake one to get the One Piece himself. I think he's the person who's going to find the One Piece first. And that battle between Luffy, and you see Loki on that fucking page, and all the people is going to literally be fighting Blackbeard, and I think he's a Blackbeard who might have absorbed Imu's body at this point or something like that, because he has those powers.
His third devil fruit.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's our final villain using that power. I've been thinking about the Saturn thing for so fucking long, and this mural panel has made it come into fruition. Because why did he touch Saturn, or why did she touch Saturn, and Oda had Saturn just die right away? I thought it was going to be power to infiltrate Marie Joie or something like that. That makes the most sense to me. Again, this is all just theories. And this
Right.
is just my interpretation of the panel and what could
It
be
would come
the
together.
heroes. But in my mind, that makes sense. Of course, there's things I'm missing. There's things that have not been revealed. There might even be another fucking huge reveal within this chapter that like leaks start tomorrow. But I don't know. What
Wait,
do you guys
so do you think that the god of the forest and like Emu, the god of the sea, are the same thing?
I do not think they're they're the
That's a
same
good one.
thing. I think
Okay.
Emu the Emu is the forest god. Whatever forest god that is. I think there's in my mind, I don't know who else would turn demons or tame demons like Emu
So then who's
literally
the- so
having
then who-
demons at his beck and call.
Yeah, a lot of people think he's
So
the
who do you
sea
think
god
is
too.
do you think the god of the sea is a separate thing, or do you think Emu becomes the god of the sea, or how does that work?
I think the
takes
God of the
form.
Sea is a separate thing. I think it has to do with Shirahoshi and her power on Fishman Island. Shirahoshi has the power. She is Poseidon, the ancient weapon. Like, she is
Right.
the ancient weapon herself, where she commands all of the Sea Kings, like a sea god. I don't know
Right.
if she's necessarily the sea god right now.
The
She
sea god
absolutely could be, but I do think that it has to do with her, and I think the original sea god that flooded the world had that power before she has. I can't remember Fishman Island. They said that there hasn't been a power like that since the Void Century, that has not manifested. But they said it was a long time. I don't remember how many like years that it was. Like Luffy, for instance, nobody awakened the Nika fruit in 800 years. It could be very similar to Shirahoshi, and the sea god, the original one, had to do with her and her family. They're also
So why do you think? So why do you think that? So do you think the first? So you think the first sea god flooded the world as what? Just like to do it,
As
or
a-
like was it to?
It was I don't know exactly why. Honestly, it was an answer back to Emu. It had to be. So I think it has something to do with Emu. It has something to do with, trying to keep the world or whatever, because mad that the gods or the demons ended up winning to try to answer back and flood the world based off of that. I feel,
Fair.
or the sea god could be evil. Like the original sea god could have been evil and flooded the world based off of like plans with Emu. There's four of them. There's four of the gods that were mentioned in Skypiea way back, and it was the god of the sun, the rain, the forest, and the earth. The god of the sun is on the panel itself, separate. It had his own separate panel up, and then the three of them were talked about in the same panel. So they could all be evil deities. We already have the god of the earth fighting back against sun god Nika, and then the god of the rain or the god of the sea or whatever could be one of those as well. And the god of the forest, obviously, if that's Emu, would be on the same tier as god of the earth, because again, another person who summoned forth the demons fighting back against sun god Nika. Maybe the god of the rain was on the same plane as them, and they were like actually evil gods who were trying to subjugate the world, and the god of the sun was the warrior meant to liberate all of them from that.
Aren't floods usually considered like an act of retaliation by gods,
I
like,
think so. I do
mythologically
indeed
and
think.
biblically? So it would make sense if it was evil,
Yeah, exactly.
like as a way
Usually.
for supporting sun god Nika.
It seems like from this panel itself, it just seems like a lot of the gods' actions are in retaliation to the people creating the sun god itself. The earth god had a retaliation back. It seems like the forest god, in retaliation for the sun god, made demons itself, and the sea god might have done the same thing. Maybe Shirahoshi's using that power for good. Maybe those gods now have turned their powers to good, like Dragon, if he's the Serpent of Hellfire. Maybe that is just something different. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay.
Because I don't know, my confusion was because obviously Emu means the sea, so I thought like everything would be like Emu's connection would be to the sea. But then again,
Sorry, I don't want to interject because
No,
I
go ahead,
think
go ahead.
somebody said it's not emu means the sea. I think isn't it like moo or emu backwards?
yeah, Emu backwards. Okay,
So
fair enough.
I've heard some people say though, because again, don't quote me 100%. It's just funny you bring that up. That it means the opposite because it's backwards. So since it's emu, it means the opposite of the sea, like the opposite
Okay.
of the god of the sea, which would be Earth.
Right.
So
But that's
Okay.
just spit.
just food
Okay.
for some thought. I just found it funny you
be-
brought that up.
Might be cookie.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, that's just my. This is also just like, dude, I like One Piece, but I'm not Oda. I'm not like I wish I was, bro. But this is just my kind of interpretations. I hope that it is. I've just been Team Blackbeard final villain for
Yeah.
forever, and this shit makes way too much sense to me. But I just can't imagine making a character with such parallels, heavy parallels to your main character. Like
Well-
the first panel that he's there, he's disagreeing with Luffy about food, making Luffy have such a sour taste in his mouth that he hates the food he's eating. When has Luffy ever hated the food that he's eating? Come on! It has to be Blackbeard. If it's not Blackbeard, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off, dude.
But then again, like, I feel like if it's not Blackbeard, then who could it then
yeah, exactly.
Who could it possibly
we
be?
went it that quick.
Because I'm thinking like,
though?
because I feel like Blackbeard hasn't showed out enough for him to not like he hasn't had like his own main like arc where he's like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think it's if it's not Blackbeard, it's Emu. But I think Emu's the remnant shadow. I think he was that figure 800 years ago. I think, and it's also would be so weird to me that all of the old figures, literally all of them in the One Piece verse, like Roger, like Whitebeard, have all shown that is the themes are this new generation. Like with the new generation of pirates, the worst generation that. Out with the old, in with the new, bro. Right. This old demon from 800 years that's managed to survive. Like, if Blackbeard doesn't overtake that shit, also then, to me, where would Blackbeard's place be in the final war? He would take a secondary, like, step to Emu, which makes no sense, because then who would fucking fight him? Would Luffy try to, like, 2v1 Emu and Blackbeard? I think the only possible sense of a final fight for Luffy that makes the most sense to me is Blackbeard. So then what the fuck? Would that mean his Blackbeard's final fight would be Luffy, but then he'd fight Emu after? It just makes the most sense thematically to me that the guy is Blackbeard, dude, and it has been. They've been leading this shit up for God knows how long.
So do you think? So do you also think that Blackbeard is going to be the one to kill Emu?
Yes, yeah, 100%, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I think like Emu's involvement, like you don't think Emu's gonna like would it not make more sense for him to have the Mother Flame or no? Because that's on like is it gonna be a fake out and then it's Blackbeard? Is he taking his role as like final villain at all, Emu? If Blackbeard's the one that's taking the real Mother Flame, like how does that fit in to other people's interpretations of Emu?
Emu's already used the Mother Flame, and he used it on I forget the name of the island, bro. Blanking out, but Lelouja. He blew up Lelouja using the Mother Flame. So I think he already is setting up for that, and I think he's had his plan for like 800 years. Now, what would be cool to me is if Blackbeard was born and manifested out of Emu's hatred, just like if the sun god was manifested out of the enslaved's fucking, like, you know...
Black Zetsu.
Like, if literally Blackbeard was manifested out of despair and darkness.
Yeah, you caught that.
And like, I did catch that. And Blackbeard was manifested out of, like, the hatred for Emu, or the Emu's hatred for everybody else. And Blackbeard was born with that knowledge of, like, Emu's plan, considering the fact that he would be a part of him, or some shit like that. And then Emu is murked by Blackbeard / Blackbeard takes the fucking power or whatever.
Interesting.
Sounds familiar.
That's my peak inspires peak, bro.
I know, I'm kidding. It's still funny though.
Peak inspires
me. There a little bit.
We'll see. I
feel like it does make sense for Emu to obviously be the one holding the Mother Flame simply because he has used the Mother Flame before.
Exactly.
So it's as a direct connection, like without thinking of any outliers happening, like Blackbeard coming in.
Facts.
Because some people thought they were going to team up, like Blackbeard and Luffy, if anything.
Stupid. Get the
fuck I don't know. I gotta say,
but
then in retaliation to that, it's like if it's the end of the world, it's like.
I get it, but I feel like Blackbeard would rather like watch everything fucking burn to the ground. And listen, I said it was no shot that Shanks had a fucking twin brother, so obviously that could absolutely happen. But I just if it happens, I'm sure it will be good writing.
I mean, it would be some classic shonen shit if that happened. So I mean, it would be good if it didn't. It would be a nice diversion of not some.
Such a nice.
We'll use our powers combined.
Yeah, like, bro. Also, Blackbeard has also made it kind of clear that his dream is sitting on top of the throne of the world. He was sitting on the throne of Pirate Island when he was saying he wants to turn his Pirate Island into like a country. I think he has higher aspirations to sit on the empty throne, to sit on Emu's empty throne, and to be that fucking guy. Could it happen? Yeah, I think it's gonna fucking happen. But
yeah, not an author or a director, but like it could be some shit like hypothetically again. If it was like a team-up scenario where it's just used as a means to an end to get rid of Emu so he could take it himself and be like, I only needed to help others as a means to my own goals, so he would obtain it himself instead of just coming in at the last second and wiping Emu.
I do agree.
I
do
mean,
absolutely agree.
unless I don't know what Oda's cooking. I don't know what his ideas are.
It's gonna whatever he has planned is gonna be 20 times better than what I just fucking said.
Yeah, he
It's
could just throw
all
a curveball at everything that's being said completely.
That's what a lot of people think. Is that this is also a drawing that's on like a mural on the side of Elbath that nobody knows who drew. How much history is missing? How much connectivity is missing? How many characters are missing from this mural of like all that stuff? Where does like Mihawk, Shanks, Zoro play in all of this? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot where
in the video I sent you, the theory video I sent you, the dude said that in the final war, after Blackbeard gets his like final devil fruit, then like sort of like takes down, like sort of like takes over like Imu's role. That's gonna cause like that's basically gonna cause like the downfall of like the world government like order, like the entire structure. So then everyone is gonna have to like pick a side, Blackbeard or Luffy, and because of that, like all of like the rivals, so to speak, are gonna be on the Blackbeard side. Therefore, like when the Zoro versus Mihawk thing, that is going to be inevitable because Mihawk is going to be on the Blackbeard side, where obviously Zoro is going to be on the Luffy side.
Word, that would be absolutely peak.
And that would also kind of make sense if like Cross Guild like blends into the Blackbeard pirates.
Facts, dude. I need to see fucking Zoro versus Mihawk. Saw theories that Mihawk, like the Black Blades, come from defeating death itself, and because Wano Zoro has been visited by the Grim Reaper a couple times, and a lot of people are theorizing like that could be in his own head. But when you lock Advanced Conqueror's Haki or whatever, that's kind of the key to having like a sword like that can take the power out of you, is that death ends up coming for you because it takes too much or something like that. And I think people think a lot of times like the circles around Mihawk's eyes have to indicate, and the Black Blade itself, that he defeated death. Death came for him, and he literally cut down death. That you can, as a swordsman, cut down legitimately anything. And so his name's also Dracula fucking Mihawk, dude. Out of Dracula, the guy who's immortal. Hello? That shit would make fucking sense to me.
Death, Dracula, fucking, immortal.
Yeah, Shanks' bitch ass has not fucking, like had a Black Blade or something like that, or all these characters have not had a Black Blade. It's because they have not defeated death. And that would also, like, the fact that Black Blades only exist with like 3 characters within the story, because why would you give that power to like how Advanced Conqueror's Haki? It's like not a lot of people, but there's like 20 to 30 people have Advanced Conqueror's Haki in the story or whatever. Like that shit is I'm only want like 3 motherfuckers to have the ability to be able to defeat death in the One Piece story. That's the truth, bro. You can't give that to fucking everybody. That would be fucking gas, and that fight at the end would be sick. But that's just kind of I've heard that about Zoro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But something else I was thinking about too was like in that like theory video I sent you the dude when they were talking about like the pirate with the eye patch that will come like at the end of the series. The dude was basically saying that there's gonna be like a first like fight. There's gonna be like 2 fights between Luffy and Blackbeard. The first one, Luffy is gonna lose, which does make sense. I mean, like thematically, right? Like and like even just like writing wise, right? Like the villain, like the hero, like experiences like a great failure before they experience like a great like victory, which makes like the great victory obviously feel much more cathartic. So he said that the first like loss between Luffy and Blackbeard, like Blackbeard is going like when Blackbeard defeats Luffy, and the same way that Blackbeard scars Shanks' eye, he's gonna scar Luffy's eye. Basically like make Luffy lose an eye, and then Luffy like then in like the second like I guess like meetup, Luffy is gonna be the pirate like with the eye patch like at the end of the story.
Ooh. That look could be gas, bro.
Oh, that cooked.
That definitely bro. ND secretly loves One Piece, bro. Come on now,
bro. I can't remember
so much. Yeah, he was just masking it. He was just masking his love for it.
He secretly. And no, but I mean, I get it. It's very easy to. Sorry, One Piece fans, y'all might turn on me for this, but it's very easy to rage bait One Piece fans because it's either they're like, I love you guys, but it's either they're so dumb or they're like brilliant, and I don't think there's any in between. It's like, let me try to use these characters to fucking power scale, or let me like actually look into the lore of this fucking like wonderful verse. And that's why I have not had a time I've enjoyed more as a One Piece fan over this past week, bro. Watching everybody like create their theories and all the lore. Give me that shit. I don't give a fuck if you think the admirals can beat the fucking Yonko, or like you're living in your own delusional fucking wonderland about that. Like, you're dumb. Nobody wants to listen to your stupid ass videos about that. Nobody cares about power scaling in One Piece, bro. I guarantee you ask Oda about that shit, he does not give a fuck about you. And he would tell you to go jump in a river with cinder blocks tied to your fucking ankles and to never speak your stupid yap bullshit again. That shit makes me so fucking pissed off. He's literally purposely in his fucking SBS's ignored questions about power scaling to tell One Piece fans to shut the fuck up. Like, keep your mouth shut about it. Just stick to the lore, bro. That's my fucking domain. I don't give a fuck about people fighting. Rah.
Bro,
No, but that's facts though. That's facts. Like
No,
like
it is.
who beats who and who is FTL plus versus like bro.
Yeah, they're not
What the
thinking
fuck does that
about
have
that.
anything to do with the story?
They're not thinking about any of that.
Shut up. No.
He'd be like, I don't
they're
know.
fucking not. He'd be like, I don't give a fuck. He'd be like, I made a character. I guarantee you asking me, he'd be like, I made a character named Kizaru who is light. What do you think light moves at light speed? Now stop asking me
That's
shit.
it. Just don't
Stop asking me random bullshit, bro.
No,
Like,
because
me,
where it
bro,
says
like, cool.
no, because where he says acceleration is power, that means that he's like 30,000 times faster than the speed
Yeah,
of light. Because like,
Because he was
I've-
5 pixels away from this cloud over here in the distance. So that means 80 million times FTL.
I
Confirmed.
genuinely tweaked out. I tweaked out on the dude on TikTok who was trying to argue with me about pixel scaling, bro. There's no way you're using pixels. Like, Oda's scales that he uses for different sizes are just different. There are,
using that.
like, there are shits that you see, like, different, like, point of views. Like, you might be closer to a character and he doesn't really care about the size that's in the back. He might be farther away from a character. You can't.
Different
That shit is so
perspectives.
inconsistent. Different perspectives. Thank you. I couldn't figure.
I mean,
it
and
out.
also
I
a lot of
fucked my
times,
words today,
a
bro.
lot of times he doesn't even. A lot of times he's not even drawing it himself. His like assistants are doing it because he's focused on doing like the main things in the scene. So all like if you see like a fucking ship that was I don't know 57 pixels in one panel and it's like 33 pixels in the other panel, dude, they're just trying to get the page done on time. They don't give a fuck
Facts.
about
They don't
making
care.
sure
They
everything
don't
is
care.
consistent.
Do you guys think genuinely in shows like Dragon Ball the authors care? I know we're kind of like riffing off the script, but again, that's the kind of thing I love to do in a podcast
That's
about
what
you
I
guys
just
because it's just so like naturally fucking.
Dude,
just
I'm
naturally.
gonna jump in right now because dude, I
Yeah,
literally,
oh, God.
bro.
Let's do
I
it.
bought the whole fucking thing for Dragon Ball, and I've been reading
Oh,
that shit, bro.
shit.
I bought the, yeah, and I've been reading that shit, bro. Toriyama does not give a fuck about Toriyama does not give a fuck about power scaling, bro. Like Dragon Ball is like bro. Dude, the entire series is one big joke. Like, dude, I've been like
Yes.
actually reading this shit.
Yes.
The whole series is one big
Yes.
joke. It doesn't like he does not care at all.
No.
Like,
No.
I made a video before. It was like the whole Krillin not having a nose. But then, like, his nose is bleeding in a panel. Then in another panel, he's shooting boogers out of his nose. But then they also say he doesn't. Like, dude, it's a joke. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter.
He does not care. He does
Like,
not
what?
care.
Think about that.
Like in one panel, the Kamehameha can barely break a boulder. The next panel, the Kamehameha is destroying the moon. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter. It's a
Mhm.
joke.
Not even a thought.
Facts.
It's a
Not
joke.
even a
It doesn't
thought.
matter.
It's legitimately a joke. It's also like Goku Super Saiyan sleeping next to Krillin and Krillin throws a rock at his head and it hurts.
That's funny
him.
as hell, though.
Is
Come on.
Goku rock level?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the whole thing about power scaling, bro. Is that these authors just don't. It's of course it's fun. It's fun. It's absolutely
Yeah,
fun
it's
to talk
so
about
fun.
who you think is winning for sure. But like if you
But when people start making it so deep, it's like, dude, like,
Yeah, it's not that deep. It's
can't
not
live or
that
die
insane.
about that, bro. Can't live or die about
I
that.
mean-
This is- Well-
I feel like authors probably don't even know what like these like universal even means, bro. They'd be like, "What are you talking about? Like, how did you get to this conclusion?" Like,
because
on
when you
what
apply
plane-
Newton's third law, because if you can do something, you can take it. Because it's like, dude,
It-
what are
it-
you
it's only
saying?
for the love
I'm
of
a
the game.
fucking
If it goes
cartoonist,
off,
bro.
it's done.
Bro, I didn't even finish high school. I'm a cartoonist. What are you talking about?
I've legitimately just for like every fucking verse, bro. Even like solo leveling fans, like it's just the most crazy yap to get characters to certain scales. It's just wild to me. It's wild. Like just starting out with big pixel scales, and because it's XY pixels away, that means his reaction time is actually 0.5 seconds, which makes him 19.5 thousand times the speed of light. But then you have him do this to this character, and then this character dodges. But then they go to outer space, and they're able to do it breathing in outer space with no vacuum or void whatsoever. Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Shut up! Please, look at me. Look. Stop fucking power scaling, bro. Stop the bullshit. Please. I'm so done with that. I feel like we talk about that like every podcast, but I'm just.
I feel like an author would get disrespected if you told them that you started measuring the scans, like measuring the distance from the character's hair to the fucking moon. in order to prove that the planet is like the size of Saturn. For what
It's like,
reason?
dude, I just wrote the fucking most beautifully fucking scripted, most cinematic, most like fucking perfect story of all time, and what you're focused on is how big the pixels of this fucking rock are.
Yeah, that's the first thing that happened. The first time they show, one of the few times they showed the whole planet in Naruto, and it's so funny or in Boruto actually, because I hate pixel calcing too, and everyone always says like One Piece planet is the size of Saturn, or Naruto's planet is smaller because we don't see that many continents. I just think they're Earth. Personally, I think they're unless we're literally shown it's like the planet is as big as Saturn. It's probably just a fucking planet. It's probably just Earth. I don't know where we're getting this shit from, but people saw like a big ass continent. They were like, "Look, there's 5 continents on the planet." There's 5, so that means it's bigger than we thought. It's not only 4 times the size of Earth, it's 27. It's like, how the fuck did we get to that? Like, where did we get that from? Where did you get the information from? How'd you scale the continent?
Bro,
I don't get it.
It's also like the pictures that they're drawing, like, obviously they're not gonna draw their like Earth to fucking scale. What are you yapping about?
Mhm.
Like, for instance, like Oda, there's the statement or whatever that the One Piece world has like millions of islands. Bro, look at an actual picture of the One Piece world that they drew. That bitch has like 4 on them, like drawn. Like, and they've been to more. You know what I mean? Like, no author's gonna draw their world to scale. I 100% think in the Naruto verse, like, it's just drawing things because we've also seen more places than the 5 villages.
Yeah, the 5 major nations.
There's literally more places. The author's just drawing the shit that's most important to the story. They care about story. Story is number 1. Nobody cares about any sort of power scaling. I promise you, even in the Battle Shonen, bro. They just care that their fights make sense. Obviously, if a character is supposed to, like, one-shot a character, like, in terms of strength, they want that to be, like, gradual. Like you said, ND, the character that loses and then ends up winning. For instance, Luffy getting one shot by Kaido. There needed to be a story-based perspective to get Luffy to the level where he's not one shot by Kaido anymore. Not necessarily that he was going to win, but that they can actually fight. Then Luffy slowly gets stronger as the fight goes on and Kaido starts to lose his stamina. That makes sense.
And it also gives it the stakes, right? Because like if you don't show how powerful the villain is in the beginning, then in your mind it's gonna be okay. Well, Luffy would win anyway, so I don't really care, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you give it the stakes to show like this guy is like this is an actual villain who can actually kill the main character if they wanted to. So now it's like okay, now it's getting serious.
Yep, and also to show that they don't give a fuck about power scaling. Admiral fans, this is for you, okay? This is for you. Number 1, your guys aren't in the final panel. So you can hold this. Your guys are nowhere to be found in the final panel. They do not matter, okay? Number 2, just like how they were building up admirals pre-time skip, right? And they couldn't be touched because they were Logias. Now all of a sudden, Luffy has a power like Haki to touch Logia fruits, and they're not that fucking strong. Turns out to be. And the author himself made a whole new group of villains called the Holy Knights. Like, during the final saga said that they're Holy Knights, one of which is Shanks' brother, saying, actually, we have a whole other ass tier in the world government. That shows that they don't give a fuck about power scaling, because as the story goes on, maybe I made Luffy too strong, let's make a whole ass new group of villains so that there's a new problem to deal with. Authors are smart. Authors are smart. These mangaka are smart. They can move and adapt as they go along in order to build up their story in the best way possible. Like, they just don't give a fuck. They do not care. At all, bro.
Nice.
And once it cliffs too high, the story doesn't make sense anymore either, because it does need to be semi-consistent.
Yeah, facts.
So.
I agree. Yeah, it needs to be. It does need to be consistent, but
especially inverse, obviously.
Yeah, inverse is the most important. But that's more, again, like, story-based. Like, fuck. I hate power scales, man. I do.
I just like it because I always thought in the end, hypothetically, which, by the way, big bucks, shout out every fucking animation studio in history, Piero, UFA table, whatever it is, UFO table, Mappa, everybody signed. If y'all made, like, a tournament of power with anime characters, like, cross-verse, just for no reason, kind of like how they did a random filler with Goku and Luffy, and that other guy that I don't remember because I didn't watch a show. Yes, Toriko. I'm sorry. Sorry, never watched it. My bad. Like just something to fool around with that people would watch. Like that would make a lot of fan bases come together and watch it. I always thought if something like that would hypothetically happen, everyone would just be semi-equal, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Like if you
Honestly,
actually gave
facts.
these authors and animation studios access to be like, oh, we can make Goku fight Naruto, we can make Ichigo fight Luffy, blah blah, this that, fucking Deku versus Asta, they're probably gonna be equal.
Oh, but
isn't
Goku will just
fucking-
blow up the universe.
Yeah, like
why
Goku
would
is
they
not
do that?
screaming a black
So
hole
boring,
into
bro.
existence, and it's gonna fucking absorb Ichigo, and it's, oh my god, like you are who? You are who? No, it's not. It's not how it's gonna be. It would probably be something cool, or like you
Exactly.
probably wouldn't be able to one-tap Deku either. To be fair, if it was crosswords, which would get people mad though. But it just makes sense because they want the characters to fight and mesh and interact with each other. It would be the same thing how they do it in verse.
Well, obvious, dude, they had the fucking, like you said, the crossover fight in which Goku didn't punch Luffy and Luffy turned into, like, oblivion.
Yeah, into
you know
paste.
what I'm saying? And into paste. And Dragon Ball's like, it's a literal fucking, like, rubber just mess
And
on the
it's-
bot, on the floor,
I
bro.
didn't confirm it. I might look it up, but I feel like if I do, it would, and I find out that it's real, it would shut. Like I'd have to do so much other research to work around it. There was apparently an unreleased. It wasn't shown to the public. Part of the crossover episodes between, Torigo, One Piece, Dragon Ball, but it was just One Piece and Dragon Ball, and it showed Goku fighting Enel, and. Right, I'd have to look this up. I saw it on a wiki page, so we might have to search for this shit after and bring it up again. I swear to God. I swear to God. And somebody posted, it could be fake, and I'm just getting baited 100%. But Goku wasn't damaging Enel because he doesn't have hockey. And that's why I hope it's fake. I hope it's fake. Because then what the fuck? Everything I know is a lie.
You just made all Dragon Ball fans have heart attacks, bro. You
Hey,
just dropped every single one of them to the floor.
I'm gonna research it more just to see if it's true, and if not, I'm gonna come back next week and be like, yo, great news, Goku one taps the verse still. But if it's real, then it's like, it would, but you feel me? But it would make sense if you think about it. I hope
No,
not.
but
though.
even if you still make the video, you just have like Dragon Ball fans and One Piece fans fighting in your comments, boosting your algorithm. So it doesn't even matter.
Bro,
I don't care if he got an ability called beats Goku. He ain't beating Goku.
Dude, somebody did that in my fucking I posted a video today. Somebody made a dumbass video saying that like Naruto lore was like tiny brained, Bleach lore was like bigger brained, and then One Piece lore was
I
like
did not
whatever.
like that.
Yo, shut up. I hate
Not a
that.
fan.
Can I just say something to everybody who's here? I'm talking about One Piece. I love Naruto and I love Bleach. As much as you might not think from my fucking whatever, from my posts or what I say to get y'all to fight in my fucking comment sections, oopsies. But I love both shows. I've seen both shows. I've seen Naruto probably like 11 times from start to finish. That's
Bro,
not a
on that.
joke. That shit when I
Lighten
was
up.
younger, bro, from start to finish. That's one of my favorite shows of all fucking time. If you understand the lore of all shows lores are big brain. Every single one. If you actually can understand what they're trying to tell you and the lores and myths behind every single one, they're all big brained. And in that same post, somebody was trying to tell me, like, who cares, bro? Like, Ichigo and Naruto both solo. Like, nobody's talking about power scaling, bro. Like, yo, why you gotta do that?
Yeah, but like in the end, Ichigo solo.
But bro, what's crazy, bro? What's crazy? What's crazy is that like no TikTok persona like shit, like just like straight up, bro. I don't even like Bleach like that, bro. I'm just being so honest. Like I'm being so honest. I started making Bleach content specifically because people were always hating on Bleach, and I was like, bro, Bleach doesn't deserve all the hate. But like, it's not because I like it more than the other stuff. It's just because people were hating on it way more than it deserves to be hated on.
Right.
Damn.
I mean, listen, you gotta
Yo,
have people
clip
back
that,
up
chat.
the
Clip
show.
that right now. Put it on Encore.
That's gonna be fucking.
Get this.
Put all up the internet about how much fucking.
I mean, my only biggest gripe about posts like that is simply, everybody. I mean, people do it to all verses too. They do it to One Piece just as well. I mean, again, I'm a certified One Piece. We can call it hater. Like, I'll piss off One Piece fans all the time. I love saying the verse is weak. I
One
love
Piece
saying it doesn't have
rage baiter, bro.
anything. But world building, they lose everything. I love saying that shit. But like, you can easily simplify all of the show's narratives. You feel me?
Right.
Guy fights ghost. Kid goes to different islands. Alien make bad power. Like, you feel me? But that's with Naruto, obviously I get mad at it because everyone can just simplify it to like, oh, an alien came down and started a bunch of wars and, you know, gave everyone powers. Elaborate then. If it's so simple compared to other shows, then go further. Go further than that.
Right.
Like, because, you know what I'm saying, most people can't, which is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, 100%.
But how can you say it's worse than something? Yo, what the fuck is happening? You
That
broke
was,
something?
that was my controller falling.
Oh,
on the floor.
shit.
Sorry to interrupt you, bro. You were spitting.
Bro started
Keep
getting
going.
attacked. No, that's crazy. Like, you feel me? Like, if you can't at least elaborate on the like, you're simplifying it. You're not giving it the whole context. You're making it sound simpler than it really is, and then saying, "Look at how simple it is." But it's not that simple.
But bro, the truth of the matter is, the vast majority of people didn't watch Bleach. Vast majority of people watched like Wano, and now they think that they have the right to speak. And the vast majority of people watched Naruto when they were like 8, and I want to have an opinion on it.
You gotta blame Oda. Blame Oda for the starting on Wano thing. Everyone took it literally when he was like, "You can start now, because now it's the One Piece." So everyone was like, "Bet." Starts reading from there.
Also, we're gonna talk about next week. We actually wanted to talk about this week, but I want to talk about it next week because we only have like 4 minutes left about which manga has the best anime adaptation. And honestly, I don't fucking think that answer is One Piece at all. I'll preview it with that. But like, yeah, that's also fucking Toei Animation's fault because Toei Animation decided to kick it up on Wano when they could have been doing that. Literally, Wano started in like 2018. You could have been doing that shit since like 2013, bro. That's when Fate came back. You have the fucking money. You didn't need to fucking make all pre-Wano like not that great. You know what I mean? Or like just decide to kick it up on Wano. That's a whole ass separate show. And it didn't help that it turned around and was like, you can tune in right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't fucking now. People are like, well, I watched some. Oh, I skipped Skypiea. Oh, I skipped this. That,
No, that's why when people are like, "Oh, should I like? People like, "Oh, like, should I start at Wano?" It's like, dude, if you want to read the story, read the story. If you don't want to read the story, don't read the story. But what the fuck is this whole thing of like, I'm gonna start like 80% through the series, dude? If you don't want to read it, don't read it. Like what?
So stupid. It's so stupid. Why would you like? You're missing the whole like context. You're missing the whole core of the show. The show is about the adventure. It's about the lore and the depth, bro. Why would you want to just like that's also what we've just been talking about is the small brain of everybody. I want to watch anime for flashy lights and fights.
Flashy light.
Yay!
Boom, boom,
flashy
boom,
fights,
boom.
lights, boom, and characters going boom, boom, boom. Fucking Dragon Ball. I blame you for that shit. But
That is 100% Dragon Ball's fault.
100% Dragon Ball's
I mean,
fault.
that's part. To be fair, the later art Wano Egghead part of that's the reason why I wanna like honestly reread One Piece.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, once I finish Dragon Ball, I'm rereading One Piece as well.
Honestly, because I feel like not to put in some weird shit, there was like an energy shift, if that makes any sense. I became more interested in what the context I'm missing afterwards, and like I want to get educated on that shit. I was like, maybe I didn't give this a fair shot by hate reading, but like, maybe I didn't give it a fair chance by going in with being like, this shit ain't all that, with that mindset.
Dude, I hate Reddit. I was the biggest One Piece hater before I read it. I was the biggest One Piece hater in my. I swear to God. Like all my friends would try to put me on, and I was like, "Fuck you! That shit's so long. You're a nerd. You're a bitch. I'm not trying to read this. You're a whole ass nerd. But dedicating your life to 1,000 chapters of this." Then I watched it. I was like, you know what? I was like cooking a little bit. The Usopp arc happened. Took me a month to get through because that shit was so fucking ass.
Really?
And I was like, I'm not with
You're
this.
uptown.
Then Arlong Park happened, and I was like, yo. Wait,
bro, that's what I'm saying. When people are like, bro, if you don't like One Piece at Arlong Park, like at that point, just don't stop watching it because
drop the fucking show.
I to this day, I maintain that Arlong Park is like the most perfect arc in the series. Like in my opinion.
Oh, it's fantastic. Takes and encapsulates the entire fucking show and puts it right there. That shit is what sent me on my fucking journey, and I did not stop. I binge watched that bitch in like 4 months, bro. The day that I got to Marineford, I made sure because I was able to watch it at work, like at front front desk at work. I put in like one AirPod. I did not watch that shit at work. I took off on a Saturday. Never forget. Locked my fucking door. Watched all 40 episodes of the Marineford arc. I fucking Uber Eats everything that day and did not let anybody bother me. And I was just from start to fucking finish. Ended the day with tears streaming down my fucking face because of what happened. That's the type of shit that fucking anime did to me. And Birds, I'm just like you. I literally started it to be like, this show is gonna suck, and I can't wait to tell everybody how much it fucking sucks.
But bro, honestly, I was the exact opposite, bro. Because I started One Piece when I was like really, really young, and that was my favorite anime. Like when I was really young, when I first started it. Then I stopped at Thriller Bark because like Thriller Bark was kind of boring. I started watching Naruto, and I was like, like the whole shit with Haku and Zabuza, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just watch this. Fuck One Piece. I stopped. I didn't start One Piece again. Then like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go like read like Wikipedia articles, watch maybe a couple YouTube videos to keep up with what's going on, but I wasn't really into it. And then like I remember it was the day someone said Shank's dad was revealed. That's when I was like, okay, now I'm gonna like. So I went all the way back to Thriller Bark and read. I shit you not, I read from Thriller Bark all the way up until that point in like 2 days.
Wow.
Wow. Binge.
That's crazy.
So I mean I gotta reread it just to like because I was just like speed reading. Like I could tell you everything that happened, but I was speed reading, so I wasn't appreciating anything. I was just like speed reading. I was reading like a chapter in like 3 minutes. Like
yeah, facts. When I was reading it was around the time where I was just basically trying to be like, this shit ain't all that. Like when Wano came out in manga form and Gear 5 was announced. Then I really started to read it because I was like, I need to see that this shit ain't really all that. And I think it really soured my opinion and understanding on it as it went through just for that purpose too, especially given that I prefer to watch it as anime. I don't read most mangas unless I'm already interested in the series or I want it to go quicker. I could not watch it. I couldn't start watching. Like watching it was unbearable to me. I don't know why. I just couldn't. I guess it was the filler scenes in between, like things dragged, and people were like, "Okay, reading it is better." But now they have shit like One Piece, and there's a whole remake coming out soon, so that's probably gonna change the game for a whole new fucking future generation of watchers. But I feel like this is a great opportunity to go back and really reread all that, especially since we're in the final saga right now.
Right.
Word, for sure. And speaking of, that's a perfect fucking segue to say that we are at an hour. We are out of time, folks. Shit flies by when you're talking with two absolute fucking studs about One Piece, bro. Damn straight. All right. So stick around next week. We're going to talk about the best adaptation from manga to anime of the big three. And we're going to do it in an unbiased way. And also, Triple Nexus might have our first guest next week. We are in talks. And just to drop a little hint about who it might be, you guys have probably heard his theories on One Piece on TikTok. That is all I have to say. And he makes them really quell. Alright. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all can take care. And we will see you guys next week. Alright? Peace out, y'all.